Hey guys, welcome back to F1 2021, the official video game, part 8 of the My Team career mode for Cross GT Racing. Coming off our best result yet, the French Grand Prix. We finished P8 and gained 4 championship points. Not that the points really matter, as we're not really a championship contender, but still an awesome milestone for our team. So riding a bit of a high at the moment as we get ready for round 9. First, marketing needs to take a look at something.
Unfortunately, we need you to step in and make an executive decision here.
So a journalist has got a story about us that's not going to make us look very good. Basically, we have to try and reduce the damage. We can either drop a little bit of team claim and 500 resource points, or drop a lot of team claim, and I think we're going to have to just go with dropping only the team claim.
Thanks for dealing with that. The department appreciates it.
No worries. We can't afford to lose more resource points, especially not 500 points. We'll take the drop in team acclaim. Sponsorship renewal time, which comes at a great time as we actually gained another sponsor in the last race. We go back with Zinetto. We've added PSD to the team, so now we answer 4 interview questions per weekend and we get money from both of our sponsors. Easy way to get money, and also a lot of the other sponsors wanted me to get championship points, and we just can't consistently do that. Now it's a very quick turnaround here between France and Austria. Only 2 days, so we're going to go with a sponsored event. Research and development to the ERS fault that we had in the last race. We've actually managed to get some more resource points for that issue, which is only going to help us when it comes to R&D. As we take a look at the facilities, we're going to increase the fabrication for durability to try and fix the issues we're having with some of our parts, with all that extra money we gained from the last race. As we now head to the R&D screens, we've got almost 1500 resource points to use. We can go a little bit of a spending spree here. Looking through the aerodynamics section, aerodynamics has been a strong point for us, so we're going to go with a minor drag reduction increase, redesigned brake ducts, and I think we go with the DRS activation mechanism as well. We haven't looked at that at all this so far this season, and that there will actually be a massive help to us as well. DRS being a vital component of the race as we now start to advance
I know we were
time.
expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Okay, so some things not going as planned in R&D, but that's okay. You're not going to win everything. You got to take the wins with the losses. As we go to the results of practice, so practice was actually really good in Austria. Managed to get almost all of the boosts and resource points in practice 1. So I only had to do, I think it was two things in quick practice. So a lot of resource points gained, and a lot of discounts, as that magnetic component that I talked about in the last video is now free. We now have 100% discount on it. Almost every single practice session has been a focus, as our driver acclaim goes up to level 5 now. Team acclaim level 10. Got that extra sponsor. We're looking good now as we head to qualifying here in Austria. Austria being probably my favourite track of the season. I have only raced, I think, not counting the Breaking Point storyline, I think I've probably raced about 10 or 11 rounds in a season before I started this season, this Cross GT Racing My Team series. And this one here, my favourite one out of all of them. A shorter track compared to most, but definitely one that I enjoy racing on, as we are sitting in P11 so far in this qualifying session, following the line behind Sainz, who has currently got pole position. The gap less than a second, so we're not too far off the pace but we're definitely not competitive at this point as we come around the last two corners. Carrying as much speed as we can through there. We go a little bit wide at the last corner, down the final straight. Qualifying completed. Good run there, really quick lap. Like I said, shorter race than most on the season, maybe the shortest one of the season. We qualify P14, 1.5 seconds off the pace of Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. Guan Yu Zhou again, P20 in qualifying. He's very consistent when it comes to qualifying. He should pick up some more places in this one. He's only 0.7 seconds behind us, so not too far behind us as we take a look at the rivalry breakdown. So I am now in a rivalry with Fernando Alonso. In hindsight, I probably should have looked at Lance Stroll, but I didn't quite know at the time where Aston Martin was sitting in the rankings. But that's alright. We'll do what we can against them as we get ready for race day.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and talented Spaniard Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Lando Norris and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Perez, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, Tsunoda, the captain, Lance Stroll and Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Raikkonen, George Russell and Pierre Gasly, Joe, Mazepin, Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
So Lewis Hamilton actually lining up on pole, not Carlos Sainz like I thought, but only by 0.07 of a second, so a very small gap as we take a look at the race strategy. Mediums to softs, 18.5 laps of fuel, so we've fueled the car a little bit less than we normally do, just because we're always holding on to quite a lot of fuel at the end of the race. As we line up here alongside Tsunoda in P12 after some grid penalties, as we are off and away for round 9 here in Austria. As we come to turn 1, we go around the outside of Tsunoda at turn 1, and straight away we've gained a spot, P11 for us now, as we follow the line of cars up to turn 2. We go on the inside of Ocon heading into turn 3. We keep him out, we push him right out. There's a caution flag. We're back to green flag racing. We've gained 2 positions there as we take a look here. Turn 1, we go up the outside of Tsunoda. We do go a little bit wide, but we just outpower him there. And then turn 3, straight up here, we take the inside against Ocon, and we just force him out to the edge of the track. So we've gained 2 spots already. P10, we're now back into the points after 3 corners, as we're now following along behind Alonso and the other Alpine. We're now sandwiched between 2 Alpines, and Ricciardo ahead of him in the McLaren. This track a pretty high speed track. I do really enjoy this one. Let's see how well we can do here today. We are sitting on the mediums, and it looks like almost, I would say, all the other drivers are probably riding on the softs to start with. As we go wide at turn 10, Ocon right behind us, but we're pulling away.
Top 10 now. Keep it up.
Lap 1 completed. An excellent first lap for us, gaining 2 positions. And now we're in a good position for the rest of the race. And come around.
Now. Keep it up.
Thanks, Jeff. Lap 2 completed. I don't think there was any change to any track positions or positions for other races in that lap. As we just get a little bit, we go off the track there. The steering a little bit touchy, and we go wide at turn 3. Strange mistake there. Just that little turn there, you know, and I just went to turn too hard, and we went right off onto the grass.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Luckily for us, though, we don't lose any track position there. We managed to stay ahead, stay in P10. Sonoda, though, has jumped in front of Ocon as we head up to turn 3 here on lap 3. We go tight, and we spin the car a little bit. We go off. We managed to save it, but we have now lost 4 positions. We're now on P14 as Stroll comes up the inside. We're in P15 now, but we go down the inside of Stroll on the inside of the Aston Martin, and we managed to get him at turn 4. But as we go back and take a look at what happened here, so we went tight on this corner, and we lost connection, our tyres to the tarmac there, and it just sent the car into a spin. So we lost those positions. But then here against Stroll, we backed ourselves on the inside, braking hard and just accelerating, and we push him out to the edge. He has to back off, and we gain that position back. So we've dropped 4 spots. Now P14, behind Sonoda in the AlphaTauri, Ocon in the Alpine, and Giovinazzi and Raikkonen in the 2 Alfa Romeos. Let's see if we can maybe gain some of those positions back as we get DRS on Raikkonen, who in turn would be getting DRS on Giovinazzi, and so on. So we go, whoa, we've a little bit of a collision there with Raikkonen. Front left colliding with his right rear, and we lose our opportunity to pass them there as Stroll goes ahead of us. We take the inside again at turn 3.
We need to stay on form.
We go in, we go tight on that corner. We push Stroll out, and we keep him out. He stays back in P15. We're in P14, but we are losing time to the races in front of us as we are catching up to Raikkonen now. Trying to push as hard as we can to try and get it behind him. Following down through turn 9. We're right behind him, heading into turn 10. We go a little bit wide. We have to slow down a little bit. We get DRS on him, and he won't have DRS on Giovinazzi. As we follow right behind him, we go to the outside. He gives us the space. We overtake him, beginning of lap 5, turn 1, back up into P13 as we take a look at this. DRS activated. We get him behind the slipstream, we use it as much as we can, we pull out. He gives us the track position, he lets us go. We get ahead of him at turn 1. P13 now. Now we just have to start chasing down some of these guys in front of us. Heading up into turn 3. Braking hard. Taking the corner. A little bit of an issue there at that corner, but nothing major. We're still game time on Giovinazzi. Now within a second of the other Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo there, along with Ocon and Sonoda, all pretty close to each other, which is good for us. It means that if we can catch up to Giovinazzi, we'll still be in striking range of the other 2, and we could get back up into P10 as we are having a great lap this lap. Sector 1 and 2 faster this lap than our previous best. As we follow Giovinazzi through turn 9, we've got good speed going through there. A little bit wide again at turn 10, but we can accelerate out We've got masses of speed on him, but he gains DRS on Ocon, which is just going to keep him ahead of
You're
us.
increasing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
Thanks, Jeff. As we get a move done on Giovinazzi there, he brakes early, but gives us space and goes defensive. And we just power around the outside of him there at turn 1. So lap 6, turn 1, we have jumped ahead into P12 now. After we also posted the fastest lap, well, our fastest lap, our best lap so far of this Grand Prix, 1.6 seconds faster than our previous best, a 108.6, as we're now trying to close that gap to Ocon, who is definitely fighting us off. He's really pushing to stay ahead, but we've just got that acceleration out of some of these corners that just gets us a little bit closer each time. Come right up behind him at turn 9, turn 10. We take turn 10 really well this time. We put the foot down, we're right behind him. DRS activated on Ocon.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Thanks, Jeff. As we use the ERS as well, we got the inside. He's on the outside. We just push him out and power through. And that's P11 now. If we take another look, we have a better exit out of turn 10 and then we activate DRS. We're going side by side. We activate the ERS as well. He brakes early, we brake late, he tries to come around the outside of us again, but we just power through and force him to put on the brakes and just drop back. As we now come to the end of lap 8, a second slower than our previous best, but we are now right up behind Tsunoda, tailing him through turn 1. Guan Yu Zhou, our teammate, now in the
Coming in
pits,
for a stop.
as we just power past Tsunoda. Well, we just have to try and dodge
Gap to car
him.
in front is 7.7 seconds.
Thanks, Jeff. There's a collision with Tsunoda there as he tried to come across. We had to move. We hit that sign. No damage to the car, luckily, but that could have been really dicey as he comes along the outside of us as well there. But he brakes early and drops back to give us position. As we take a look, no damage to the body. So if we take a look here, so around turn 1, we go on the inside here to turn 2. He cuts across. We have to go onto the grass. We go through that side. A bit of contact there. Turn 3, we go very wide. We come back alongside Tsunoda. We're side by side all the way over the hill. Heading down towards turn number 4. He brakes early. We brake late. Around turn 4, there is P5. So we go a little bit tight there. We take a look. Tyres are fine. No damage so far. Engine's looking good. Halfway through this race now, as it looks like the front runners are going into the pits. So we come around lap 10.
In this lap, push now.
Okay, so lap 10, we are now P1, leading this Grand Prix. Pitting the end of this lap, if we can get some decent time between us and Tsunoda, who is currently in second, we might be able to get a good position coming out of the pits. We're going to have to push. We're on the mediums, on some relatively worn out mediums. Everyone else should be changing to the softs, I believe. No, changing from the softs to the mediums, and then we'll be changing to the softs ourselves. We should have an advantage over most of the other cars, so it should set up a pretty good finish for us. Hopefully get some more championship points for the team and for ourselves. As we come around turn 9 into the pits at the end of lap 10. It looks like there's also a bunch of the others coming into the pits as well. Tsunoda, Giovinazzi, Vettel coming in, all going on to the mediums. As all the cars that went through the pits in the laps before to get onto the mediums now fly by us.
Go. You'll be racing on the exit. Go now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Awesome, 1.8 seconds in that pit stop. It was as good as we could have got it, and we come back. We rejoin the race. P11 behind Esteban Ocon and our current rival Fernando Alonso. As we go around 2 and 3 there, we've got a second on Ocon. We get a corner cut warning there at 2 and 10, as we also get the...
We're leading our teammate by 10.9 seconds.
Thanks Jeff, our teammate quite a ways behind us, so we got the fastest sector 3 time of the entire race so far that lap. As we go on the inside of Ocon at 2 and 3, he comes back around the outside, we push him out and we gain that position. We are now in the points here in Austria. As we take another look, we go on the inside at 2 and 2, he comes across. We go back to the inside at 2 and 3, he brakes early, we brake late. He comes back, but we just accelerate out in front of him, pushing him out and getting P10. As we come around, lap 12 completed. 6 laps left to go here in Austria. We are 6 seconds behind Alonso. Now just over 5 seconds. That's now just under 5. Just under 5 seconds with 5 laps to go. We gained a second on him that lap. We need to gain another second every lap to catch up to him. He's on mediums, we're on softs, but his Alpine is a bit faster than our car.
Ahead is 4.4 seconds.
Thanks Jeff, 4.4 seconds the gap. As we come around turn 10 now at the end of lap 14. We now managed to get it just under 4 seconds now. Really pushing this car as hard as we can. We need to keep gaining a second a lap on him. We can see him up in the distance. He's right there. We just got to keep pushing. Sainz almost 10 seconds ahead of him, so we are not going to get anywhere near him in the Ferrari. So 9th is the best that we can do as we come around.
Catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
Thanks Jeff, just warning us there, we're obviously pushing these tyres too hard. But we've got 3 laps left and we're just under 3 seconds behind Alonso. We can catch up to him, but we're going to have to really push and also really watch those tyres. We don't want to go over that line and lose it all. Okay, so tyre wear is up there. Fuel is minimal right now. We have exactly 2 laps left. Thanks Jeff, our teammate is just falling behind us at a rate of knots, but we're not worried about that. We have just enough fuel to finish this race. The tyres are absolutely screaming at this point. But we have to push. Alonso is only 2 seconds ahead of us. We've got 2 laps left. At the rate that we're going, we might be able to get him. 1.6 the gap now. Coming down through the high speed part of this track. Coasting around turn 7, accelerating out. We go wide at turn 8 onto the grass. And that's cost us some time. Coming around now turn 10. The gap still 2 seconds to Alonso. We have 1 lap.
Final lap of the race.
1 lap left. We need to try and gain 2 seconds on him. He's right there. Our only chance. Right now, as we activate the ERS, the last of the ERS that we have, we need to get within DRS range. And we just have to absolutely go for it. As we slide a little bit there at turn 3, that's going to cost us a little bit more time. The Alpine just pulling away. It's got the extra power that we're lacking. But we're going to keep pushing. And now we've gone wide at 4 onto the grass. And that could be the final nail in the coffin for us in this race. almost 2.5 seconds the gap now, going through turn 8, 2 turns left. We are not going to catch him as Lewis Hamilton has taken the checkered flag here in Austria for Mercedes. Alonso will take 9th and we will finish 10th place.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Well, we did what we could, but we just couldn't get Alonso.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Austria, and a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So there we have it. Round 9 here in Austria. Lewis Hamilton taking the checkered flag. We finished P10, another championship point. Guan Yu Zhou finishes in 19th, so we did gain 1 position on where he started. So he's still pretty consistent, but again, another great performance from us. We started in P11, no, we started in P12, sorry, and finished P10 with another point to add to our total so far. As we take a look at the driver standings, only a couple of changes that we can see from there. Lewis Hamilton now jumps from 5th into 3rd. Valtteri Bottas in 4th, tied with him in points, and Charles Leclerc drops to 5th. Max Verstappen 18 points ahead of Lando Norris in the McLaren there. As we now take a look at the constructor standings, Mercedes and Red Bull are now tied on 250 points. Now things are starting to heat up as we head to the midsection of the season. McLaren 36 points behind Ferrari, 85 points, and so there's still double digits within them. We managed to maintain our position, but Alpine now jumps ahead of Aston Martin after gaining a couple of points there through Alonso, and we managed to keep ahead of them by 1 point with the point that we gained by getting P10. So the battle in the middle there is starting to heat up. We're going to try and see how far we can go and what we can finish with at the end of the season. So that wraps up round 9 here at the Austrian Grand Prix. An amazing drive from us. A couple of mistakes made there which cost us some vital positions, but we managed to get a lot of positions, a lot of overtakes in that race. Great pit stop, and we walk away with another championship point, showing that a brand new team in F1, you know, is not a team that can just be brushed aside. We just have to see if we can maintain this kind of momentum throughout the rest of the season, or whether the other teams will just start to pull away from us. If you enjoyed watching this, please leave a like, comment below, let me know what you thought, what your thoughts are for this race and the races before, what you're thinking so far. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It would really help me out on my channel. And I will see you guys in the next one at round 10 in the British Grand Prix at Silverstone.